Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
We're going to take a little journey this morning. So I invite you to, if you would like to, start by just kind of resting your eyes. And I want you to imagine uh, 2,050 years ago, give or take, out in the Middle East, area around Jerusalem, Galilee, Nazareth, desert region, country, plants, trees. Imagine what life is like for you living there. What's the day to day? What are the challenges you face? What's the social hierarchy like? What are the politics like? And maybe, just maybe, getting through one day is an amazing blessing. What are you thinking about? What are you trying to get done? So just go ahead and open your eyes whenever you're ready. I just wanted you to kind of set the stage a little bit because, we're talking about Palm Sunday. We're talking about the teachings of Jesus as we begin the month. So you're the average individual living in this day and time. All of a sudden, you hear whispers and rumors and so on about this teacher, this new teacher who's walking around the area talking about some pretty revolutionary stuff for the day. He's inviting people to remember, to think about things differently because, at the time, if you were the average Hebrew individual, we were ruled, if say, think of it in first person. We were ruled by the law of Moses. And you've got the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the various rabbis walking around, making sure that we are all being very observant of all the things going on, right? Because they're stuff day to day, day in, day out. You can do this, you can't do this, we must do this, must do that. Along comes Jesus, carpenter's kid, talking about all this revolutionary stuff. And so I'm going to give you just a little taste of kind of the revolutionary stuff he was talking about. Just kind of get things going just a little bit. So from the book of Matthew, chapter 5. Jesus has been out wandering. He's been out walking around teaching, healing, doing stuff. He went by Galilee and gathered up a few people to follow, kind of decided they wanted to follow along. And so in chapter 5, he goes up, the crowds start following around. He goes like this. And this is, in case you're interested, this is the Lamsa version, the Lamsa translation. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up to the mountain. And as he sat down, his disciples drew near to him, and he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the humble, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for justice, for they shall be well satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall have mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for the sake of justice, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when men reproach you and persecute you and speak against you every kind of evil falsely for my sake. Then be glad and rejoice, for your reward is increased in heaven, for in this very manner they persecuted the prophets who were before you. You are indeed the salt of the earth. But if the salt should lose its savor, with what could it be salted? It would not be worth anything but to be thrown outside and to be trodden down by men. You are the light of the world. The city that is built upon a mountain cannot be hidden. And on with the Sermon of the Mount. No doubt Jesus had a lot to say. A lot to say. One of the things in the book this month by Deepak Chopra, The Third Jesus, one of the things that he points out is that Jesus was very much about light. Light and love and compassion and peace and contemplation and a lot of things. But the big thing was light. It tells us that we are the light of the world. And we shouldn't be hiding our light under a bushel basket. How often do we do that? How often do we hold back? I know there are times I have found myself doing that. And that doesn't serve anybody. It doesn't serve me. If I'm holding back my own truth, if I'm holding back from acting upon or speaking what is true for me, in a certain way, the message that I'm giving to myself is that maybe I'm not worthy. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe my own inspiration is not worth expressing or experiencing. Now, why would I do that? If I hold myself to be, as Jesus tells us, if I hold myself to be a child of God, standing here in the world, I hold myself to be an individualized expression of the divine, as Ernest Holmes would tell us, that I'm worthy of all these good things. I have the opportunity to accept and experience any number of blessings, as Jesus outlined for us. In Matthew 11, we have this. Come to me, all you who labor and carry burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and meek in my heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is pleasant and my burden is light. Now, as I read through this week and read through what Deepak Chopra was saying about this one, and about light in particular, I kind of rolled through it and I thought about it. I kind of rolled it around in my head and my heart and gave it some thought. And this is an invitation for me. This is an invitation from God, from the divine, to say, you know what? Let me take care of it. You got something going on. You have a challenge. You have an opportunity to learn and grow. You have something happening in your world that maybe you just don't feel you're enough. Turn it over. Just trust in me a little bit. Trust in the higher power that is moving through you and around you each and every moment. Trust in that. Trust in that larger idea of you just a little bit, and maybe just set it aside and say, you know what? I can't do this by myself. I'm going to trust in a higher power and say, you know what? Help. Help. Because I know for myself, I've had challenges in my life and just raising my hand and saying, hey, get a little help here. Am I alone? Anybody else have trouble asking for help? I didn't think I was alone. Okay. Joe, can you bring that back up for just a second? I'm not quite done with that. All right. So this is saying, you know what? Ask for help, and help is here. If you just trust in the higher power that is in me. And in addition, this is the one that I've been playing with, and I'm just going to say that I'm playing with this idea, so I invite you to play with this as well. Deepak Chopra keeps talking about light, and Jesus saying, light this, light that, you are the light of the world, all of this. So for my yoke is pleasant and my burden is light. What if we just turn that just a little bit, instead of light being like feather light, what if it's light, as in my inner light? How does that change it? How does that shift it? Is it really a burden? Maybe it's gift. My yoke is pleasant and my gift is light. I'm just playing with the words. I like to do that sometimes. So we're talking about Deepak Chopra and this book, The Third Jesus, which I'm finding fascinating. I'm finding it absolutely fascinating. And so on page 23, he says this. Instead of thinking that wisdom is unique to the Messiah, we should take Jesus literally when he says, you are the light of the world. Jesus is describing our destiny as equal to his own. Remember, later on in the New Testament, in the Gospels, Jesus says, these things I do, and you shall do also. And you shall do also. And Deepak Chopra goes on to list out what he calls Jesus' essentials of a spiritual life. And I'm just going to list them out. I'm not going to go through. It's a big list. I'm not going to go through all of them today, but I'm going to give you the list. And I'm sorry I don't have a slide for you on this one. It's on page 23. First is meditation, going within to contact with the silent mind. The second, contemplation, reflecting on the truth. The third, revelation, receiving the spiritual insight. The fourth, prayer, asking for higher guidance. 5, grace, taking God into one's heart. 6, love, participating in divine love. 7, faith, believing in a higher reality. 8, salvation, realizing that you have a place in a higher reality. And 9, unity, becoming one with God. So I'll just roll through the words one more time, 1 through 9. Meditation, contemplation, revelation, prayer, grace, love, faith, salvation, and unity. So as we move into Palm Sunday, at this point, Jesus has gone up. He's gone up to the mountain. He's been around the area teaching and, speaking about all these revolutionary ideas. And he's walking into Jerusalem, knowing that he's been shaking the tree. Stuff is falling. He's challenged all of the authority, all of the structural authority of the time, from the Sanhedrin to the Roman governors. Everybody's in an uproar. And he's walking into town going, yeah, here we go. Here we go. And he knows he's walking into trouble. He's going to walk into town. He's going to be arrested. And this is the beginning of the great, great story. One of the greatest stories of our time. And for me, the greatest lesson is that he decided to stand in the light in the face of all of it. To leave the top off his own bushel basket as an example for all of us. Of everybody in the area, all the people looking at him as, the Messiah, the Savior, and all the stuff. All he wanted was for people to look at him as an example of what was possible or what is possible for them. He chose to shine his light. He chose to live as an example. He did not hold himself as an exception. Let me say that again. He did not hold himself as an exception. He held himself as an example of what's possible for all of us. Exceptional? Sure. Extraordinary? Sure. And so is each and every one of us. Should we choose to allow it? Should we choose to turn within and do the work? Should we choose to turn within and celebrate ourselves from limitation, upset that we hang on to? All the stories we tell ourselves about how we're not enough, or the mistakes we've made are unforgivable. Maybe I shouldn't say we. I have told myself those stories. We hear this in Luke. When some of the Pharisees asked Jesus when the kingdom of heaven would come, he answered, saying to them, "The kingdom of heaven does not come by observation. Neither will they say, 'Behold, it is here,' or 'Behold, it is there.' For behold, the kingdom of heaven is within you." What are the little bushel baskets and layers of covering that we have put upon ourselves, that little light inside of us? See, I'm choosing today, again, and like I work at choosing every day, to clear a little bit away, to let go of a little more fear, to let go of a little more anxiety, to let go of a little more doubt and uncertainty, so that I can shine, so I can let that little light shine. What's the song? This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Let it shine. What's the risk? Somebody going to smile at you and giggle? Well, yeah. Heck yeah. Why not? Let the light shine. People will smile. Let the light shine. People will giggle with you. Maybe they'll be lifted up just a little bit and forget their troubles for a moment. What a wonderful gift we can give to the people in the world if we just shine our light a little bit more every day. And open our hearts just a little bit to that kingdom of heaven that is within us. And let that energy flow out. Let that atmosphere flow out. To embrace the love, the light, love, light, life, peace, power, beauty, joy, prosperity, health, wholeness, abundance, all the things, man. If we just open our life up to that kingdom of heaven, the qualities that we embrace, the qualities of life that we can experience are immeasurable. Immeasurable. So much greater today than we can even imagine. What's possible today? And in the end, Jesus just wants us to love each other, wants us to love ourselves. And so we find back in Matthew again, Jesus said to him, "Love the Lord your God." This is to the Pharisees. The Pharisee walked up and said, "What's the greatest commandment?" They're testing him. And his response is this. Jesus said to him, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind." This is the greatest and the first commandment. And the second is like unto it, love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. Can it be just that simple? Absolutely. So with that, let's talk about practicing the principles for this week. This week, real simple. We're just going to take it and take some ideas. I'm going to invite you to think about them in the morning and in the evening. It's one of the practices that Deepak Chopra invites us to do. Contemplation. This week, let us take time to pause and consider these fundamental qualities of God: love, light, life, peace, power, beauty, and joy. Take one each day in whatever order you want. Sit with it in the morning. Quiet contemplation. Pause and reflect upon it periodically through the day. And again, as you get ready for bed, notice how giving these qualities attention tends to bring them forward in your life. So, with that, now it's your turn. Questions, comments, thoughts? I'm not guaranteeing any proper answers, but you are welcome to ask. I'm sorry.
I said spot on.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name earlier. Stephen. Nice to meet you, Stephen. Anybody else? Oh, you're not. I guess no. Anybody? I was not that comprehensive. I left a bunch of stuff out.
I just want to say, you said, could it be that simple? Yes, it can be that simple, but it's not that easy. I mean, it's not easy. It's not that it's not that easy. It's simple, but it's not easy.
Okay. Thank you, Nancy. Appreciate you. I'm not going to make you ask questions.
Palm Sunday.
Palm Sunday.
Palm Sunday. What's it mean?
Palm Sunday? I mean, the palms are all about, if you've read the story, the palms are all about everybody, laying the palm leaves, down on the ground as he was riding through on the donkey.
Insult to injury? Because they were saying, he's special.
Right. Yeah, because they're, all of a sudden everybody's elevating him into a status that was beyond anything they would have expected. And that was the trigger. That was the trigger that set all the next steps in motion. I'm sure we'll be hearing more about those next week.
Could that be perceived as ego?
On his part, no. On the part of the Sanhedrin, absolutely. The Sanhedrin, in case you don't know, Sanhedrin is the religious ruling class of the day and age. So they were very, very threatened by him. So yes, he threatened their egos quite a bit. So thank you. Good question. Yes, sir. Yes, Dick, go ahead. Need a longer cord.
It's tough for me to connect because I am the thinker.
Mhm.
That I think of being connected to the universe, and I don't use the word God or spirit because that's a person, and I know it's not a person, it's everything.
Right.
And how would you advise to help keep focused on staying connected?
Oh, great. Lovely. Thank you for the question. For me, I mean, there's a lot of practices I've shared with people over the years, and it can be as simple as stopping to take a breath periodically, and just for me, like you, for a long time, I couldn't use the word God because for me, it triggered this whole anthropomorphic image that we were all given over the years. Anymore, I mean, the words are interchangeable for me: God, Spirit, Source, Infinite Mind, on and on and on and on. It's all the essential energetic nature of life that responds to us. staying connected for me is remembering that the only place I can actually be disconnected is a mental construct that says I'm not connected. Because I can't not be connected. I am always connected. The disconnect is just simply a thought in my head that says I'm disconnected. It's a misconception. It's a lie, a story I tell myself about how I'm limited and how I'm separate from everything and all that. So for me, staying connected can be as simple as saying, reminding myself, oh, okay. Even my breath, just my breath, I'm breathing the energy of spirit. I'm breathing spirit at every moment. And if you stop and think about it, the word breathe comes from respiration, right? So respiration, inspiration, to breathe in spirit. Just that simple, to reconnect. Just to pause and connect, right? Pause and connect, pause and remember. So thank you for that. I think.
You made the comment about playing off of words, and when I was reading the part about love thy neighbor as thyself, it made me think about growing up. A lot of us didn't love ourselves. Many children are grown, they're raised to be fearful or feel unworthy. And as we grow up, if we're open and receptive to personal growth, then we start paying more attention, and within our science of mind, we learn, at least I learned that, we are also like mirrors against each other, that sometimes I catch myself responding in kind to how people are treating the world, and that can be negative too. It's not always positive. So in our mission to make this world a better place for everyone, it occurs to me that we can really focus on, being the light, but also being more joyous, more pleasant, more loving of ourselves, because that's what is shining and being reflected off of others too, that we're causing them to react to us. So it's just, a play on words about really loving ourselves and being aware of it and practicing that.
Great, thank you. All right. Okay, so let's take this all into prayer. So we pause and turn within. Remembering that there is truly only one infinite life, one love, one peace, one power, one joy, one infinite spirit, in which we live and move and have our being, and it in us, as us, and around us, and through us, and this and every moment. And so today I just want to pause and be grateful for a moment for this time we've had to share together. Be grateful for our awareness that truly there is only one of us. And so as I speak this word for myself and for everyone here now in this space, for everybody watching on the live stream, I speak the word for each and every one, knowing that all is well, that life is good and very good for each and every one of us, that love points the way, that life is an experience of enthusiasm, an experience of inspiration, one of joy, of happiness, of health and wholeness. There is a true sense of peace and understanding, a sure and certain contentment about my life. And so if there is any need, any want, any desire on the hearts of anybody here, Simply bring them forward and let's shine some light on those now. A light of understanding, a light of letting go, sweeping aside any doubt or uncertainty now, revealing truth, that infinite and divine life shines forth now in its fullness in each and every one of us. Every cell and fiber of our being, every spark of intuition, spark of inspiration shines forth now. We let everything else go and allow ourselves to be present in the experience of infinite life in the moment. We're so grateful that we to see very clear of our being, knowing that each and every one is a blessing to the other, to the city and the country, state, world that we live in. We go forth knowing all is well, that life is good and very good as every one of us. And so it is.
And so it is.